Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
How soon did you realise George wasn't going to make it as a drummer?
Straight away.
50.
Your age.
Oh, way off. A little bit off.
Yeah, a little bit off.
Not quite.
Chasing it down though, aren't you?
Yeah. At a steady pace. Just,
Yeah.
you know, not too fast, not too slow.
No. 50th episode.
50. Are
lot,
you surprised we've got to this number?
Yeah, I am surprised. However, you are a man who gets things done and is consistent. So I'm also not surprised. If people hated it, we'd probably still go, well, let's keep, we've got to do the pod, right? You know, if people wanted to, you know, hang us, probably be like, yeah, but this is part of our routine now. So we're going to keep podding. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
no, not really surprised.
That's
Are you?
Good. No, I don't. I think it's kind of become like when you just do something weekly, and now it's like, oh shit, there's like 50 of these.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, it's Christmas soon. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm proud. I think what our achievement has been is actually we have just done one every week.
Done one every week. Yeah.
Done one every week without fail.
Mm.
So, you know, that's pretty good.
Which is something we said from the beginning. Just like we got to just keep
doing it.
doing them. Because at the start, you're like, okay, we've done one and let's, I don't know. But as soon as the first one's out, it's like, keep going, you know.
Yeah.
It could take 10 years for us to get our...
Almost like a war of
Spotify deal.
attrition between us and the listeners.
Yeah.
We'll keep doing it. So, and I honestly think some people have listened because they've gone, fucking hell, they keep making it.
Yeah.
Well, I must.
Well, Dean said that. Dean kept going, oh, I will listen. at one
Dino!
point. And then
Shout out
finally-
Dino.
Yeah, this is it.
Never
Whereas
met
if
him.
we'd have stopped, if we'd have stopped, no one would
Yeah.
have.
And then people have gone, I must have been rubbish then.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
Yeah.
oh, maybe there's something in it. I mean, there isn't, but
No.
we're not letting you onto that fact.
What I like, not to, you know, it's not even tooting our own horns, but when I meet people I haven't met who have listened to it, which is weird, and they'll quote us from really old episodes, and I'm like, I don't know what is this? I don't know what you're doing. And they're like, oh, don't you remember that episode where you was on about the Lego and you said? I'm like, no, I don't
I've
remember.
done 50 of these.
It's, yeah, exactly. So that's it's. But
no, I'm proud
very
of.
nice.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me. Proud of the
Yeah.
pod that we've been consistent. If nothing
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I've really enjoyed, mate. I really enjoy making it.
yeah, me too.
So it's good. And we've still got things in the pipeline that we want to do.
Yeah.
People we want to talk to.
Mm.
Things we want to do to build on what we've already done. So
Totally.
here's to the next 50.
Yeah, there you go.
There
Christ.
we go.
Right. Well, let's have that as an intro.
That's lovely.
We don't need to talk about what we've been up to.
Now,
We have
Well,
a guest.
we have
Go
a
on.
special guest. Yeah.
No, go on. You do it.
No, I was going to
Take
say,
way for it. Yeah.
and I think, I don't know whether it's appropriate for episode 50, but
Mm.
we're having a bit of a George Pickering blast from the past.
We are.
Who have we
It's
got
my-
on, George?
It's my drum teacher my first drum teacher, essentially. I played a little bit at school, and then my mum was like, right, let's get him a proper drum teacher.
Because he's rubbish.
Because he's rubbish.
This sounds awful.
Yeah, he does not
He
know
needs some
what he's doing.
lessons.
And,
Big Pete. Let's get Big Pete on the phone.
get Big Pete. And and I had lessons with him right up until I went to BIM. And yeah, it was great. But we've loosely stayed in touch ever since. Like I've had him on Instagram and you know, we've sort of seen what each other have been up to. But we haven't chatted since then, really. You know, it's been like 10 years. And yeah, and I know he follows the pod Instagram, so I was like, let's see if Pete's up for it. And he was great. Well, was he great? I don't know. You'll find out. Could have been awful.
Could have been awful.
That's reason to listen.
But I think it was nice. I've not met Pete before, and I think it was great that you two are still in touch.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever level, have a good relationship still. And
Yeah. Well, to put it bluntly, because we're both still doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's still very much a drum teacher, probably more so, you know, like,
yeah.
because he's more experienced and 18 years in the game. But yeah, should we
Let's go
dive into it?
Yeah. Here's our interview with George's first drum teacher, Pete Watson.
Pete,
Hey, boys.
there he is.
Yay.
This is the guy.
The guy, the myth, the legend. No, joking.
Yeah, exactly. You are. I can see you're in the studio.
Yeah,
Wow.
mate.
Yeah,
Yeah, still same old.
this is it. Is that the same kit?
Yeah, still got the same kits. I've got
Jesus.
two more actually. I've got my DW sort of like over there,
Oh, yeah.
and then I've got another one that's just sitting over there. My little Giggins hammer kit.
Nice. Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't remember when I was last there. Must have been.
Come on, man.
Well,
Years
I popped
ago.
by once to ask for some teaching advice. But
Yeah,
but other than that, yeah, like 10 years or something.
it's been years, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's all been good.
Cheers for doing this. It was
That's all right, man. Not a problem.
wanted to get you on. I should explain, Pete is my first drum teacher. And I can't remember how long I had lessons with you, but it was a good few years.
It was a good few years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
From,
I think-
I know. Yeah, go on.
I think it was while you were, I think the latter years of school,
Yeah.
sort of like to college years sort of thing. And then you went off to uni. I think was
yeah.
it Brighton Uni, was it?
Yeah, bit,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was definitely like 16 to 18 at least.
Yeah,
But,
at least.
But no, it was great. I kind of, well, I mean, that was sort of why I wanted to get you on, just to discuss your life in
Whoa.
teaching, basically. Yeah. I mean, go on.
I'm old, mate. That's going to take a long time.
Well, this is it. Well, I wanted to start like now, as in like what your current working week is, because I know you teach a lot. Is it just,
A
first of
lot,
all, is
yeah.
it like just Monday to Friday, or do you do weekends?
Well, it used to be weekends like years ago, but I
Yeah.
found I was just missing my family. To be
Yeah.
honest, I'll be teaching Monday to Friday. Then I thought I was getting busy, so
Yeah,
I taught on a Saturday, and then it was almost creeping over into a Sunday.
yeah,
And I was like, I was going home and going, oh, my kids have grown up, and I haven't been there.
yeah,
So I kind of went, okay, let's just knock that on the head, sort of like try and space people out to like during the week.
yeah,
But then it kind of like went slightly wrong again, because I just ended up working late into the evening, like 8, half
Right.
8. So
yeah,
again, I had to kind of, have a word with myself and go, look, just
Yeah.
limit yourself to kind of like 6:30
yeah,
or 7. And, some things are more important, man. I mean,
yeah, totally. So
I mean,
what's
I love playing. I love
Yeah.
teaching. I love playing, but you got to kind of analyze things. I think you got to take a step back and go, look, life is too short.
yeah, totally.
So
You've got a family, yeah. How many kids have you got? 5 kids?
Well, 4.
4. No, sorry, I thought it was 5.
4 that I know of.
Oh. But yeah, no, you got to get that balance right. So what's
Yeah.
your current working week? What's Monday to Friday for you? What
Okay,
schools you at and stuff?
so right, Monday I am at Bourne School.
Right, yeah. Where I
Yeah,
went to school.
yeah, where you in the school, and I'm there till like end of school, sort of 3 o'clock ish,
Yeah,
and then I go straight from there to the studio here.
Yep.
And I teach till like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Damn.
Tuesday, I am at primary school all day. So same again, till about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Again, here, 3:30 till about 7 again. It's pretty much the same every day.
Yeah.
Wednesday at the moment, however, I've got nothing on a Wednesday morning, which is quite nice because it breaks up the week.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of not like full on. My wife would disagree, but you've always got time off on a Wednesday. But Wednesday afternoon, same again.
Yeah.
All the way through till about 7. Thursday, I'm up in Fernhurst, actually, at primary school up there.
All right.
That's quite a tiny school, but I've got a morning's worth there, and then back again till about 7. And then Friday, I'm at Chichester Free School.
Right.
So that's pretty much all day. And then I give myself the rest of the afternoon off.
Amazing. There you go. I wanted to ask that because I knew you worked, all over the place, but it's like, it is interesting because that's your whole career, as in like, it's just teaching, some people do teaching a bit on the side, but for you, it's like, that is your Monday to Friday. I don't know, 9 to 5, 9 to 7, I guess. But yeah. So how did you start and how long have you been doing it now?
Wow. So I'm now 48.
You're not.
Mate, I am. Stop being nice. I started when I was 30, actually. I mean,
really?
I had a normal job, sort of like leaving college, sort of went to work with my parents because they bought a business. Did college and got qualified, etc. And I was working in Chichester, a print place, and I don't get the whole story, but the boss was a bit of an arse.
Yeah.
And he wasn't very honourable and didn't treat me right and all the rest of it. So I was like, okay, I've got to get out of here. But I've got nowhere to go. I've got family. Wife isn't working. At that point, actually, I had 8 students.
Right.
And I used to go to their houses and sort of like all over Emsworth, Westbourne, sort of like Chichester area, and used to just teach them there.
So this was just to say, this is why you still had the job. You had 8 students on the side. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Because I really wanted to sort of like wanted it to be a job, but I kind of didn't really believe in myself enough, I suppose.
Yeah.
I thought, this is like you said at the beginning, sort of like, this is a side hustle. This is like something I'll do for a bit of extra cash.
Yeah.
But it ended up, I left that job and I was like, right, I've got to do it now.
Yeah, innit?
But I just ended up writing letters to loads of schools, just everywhere, really. And then my first break was Westbourne School, actually, which I'm still at now, sort of like 18 years later.
Wow.
So I got a break there. And then from there, one of the teachers went to Fernhurst, where I am now, and he became headmaster. And he goes, look, Pete, I'll get you up there as well. So I was like, up there. And then somehow I got into Bourne School. Yeah. That's where Benji Thatcher used to teach, I think. So got into there. And the CFS was actually the last one, because they moved. They were in mid-time moving from Sun site in Hunston to the site they're at now, which is like off the Selsey roundabout kind of place. And that's, I got all my schools there. And it just kind of just happened. It just flowed. It's sort of like, I was like, and then I was kind of thinking, right, I've got mornings sorted now. Yeah. But obviously I'm going to need more. So bless them, my parents, they've got quite a long garden. They went, Pete, do you want us to build you a drum studio? Hello? No, sorry, don't want you to. No, of course. Yes. So they built this. They built this place for me. Yeah. And they were like, well, you fill it and we'll build it for you. My dad's took down his shed and stuff, and he's got like a little section of this building in as his shed. And it's just been gone from there, really. It's just got bigger and better and sort of like ticking over quite nicely at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. How long have you had that place at your parents'?
Again, probably about 18 years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. It's been a really good asset, actually. I mean, it's a good dumping ground for all my drums, and good teaching area, and sort of like little office over there where I can just get on with some emails and while kids are practicing.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember that. That was what, when we had lessons, it would be like, I'll get you on this, and then you disappear, which I actually learned is like such a good, we'll get on to like teaching methods and stuff, but like, it's such a good thing to like leave a student with something. Yeah. Because sometimes I'd sort of be like, try this. And then I'd be like,
staring at them.
Like, why haven't you done it yet? Whereas you'd sort of go off and I'd be like, where's he going? But it was actually like perfect. But
it's planned.
Yeah, exactly. You knew what you were doing. So I kind of wanted to, talk about life as a teacher. And I don't really know how to approach it. So, I mean, let's go for the obvious. Like, how do you deal with like a student who's perhaps not as interested as their mum thought they might be, or something like that? Any horror stories within that? Or
well, I know what you mean. You do get some kids that are like, I've had a few actually over my time. Kids that are like, they like the idea of it, and that they can just smash some drums and stuff. And their parents are like, I want them to get a grade in this, I want them to get to this, that. And sometimes you can, I mean, you know yourself, you can tell in the first couple of lessons, you think this kid, You could. Well, I believe everybody can.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, but with I always say to the parents, I'm like, they do need a lot of help. With all due respect, I'm like, they do need a lot. They haven't naturally got that gifting of rhythm or anything like that, really. Sometimes I've had some howlers.
Okay, well let's delve into that.
George,
wow.
What, Ben?
George was one of the houses.
Yeah, me being one of them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, saying that, George is actually pretty cool. I mean, there was one time. Do you remember, George, when you broke my bass drum skin?
I do. Yeah. I was waiting for either of us to bring that up. I remember exactly what we were doing. We were playing Rope by Foo Fighters, and I just instantly, like, the kick pedal went through,
bang, straight through,
and I was like, Pete, like, why have you stopped playing? I'm like, there's no skin. So so there's
you signed it as well. You signed it.
I know. I signed it, and then it was there for a while.
Ages. Yeah, I put up in the corner there. I've probably still got it somewhere, but I don't think I've probably got it somewhere in the shed or something. But that was quite funny.
No, I was proud of that.
I've had some. I mean, it sounds really out of order. I've had some like private school kids, kind of that literally do not want to do it, and their parents are putting them up to it and saying, look, this would be good for you. This would be good for you, because it's good for your focus. It's good for a lot of things. And they would just sit there and do nothing. Yeah, literally would do nothing. And
is that like primary school or secondary school?
Kind of in like year 6, kind of got attitude. Year 6, year 7, kind of like on the bee's knees. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've had some literally just sit there and they're like, I don't want to do this, Pete. I'm like, well, your parents are paid for it, and they're like, yeah, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a stalemate, and then you've got to explain to the parents why they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And they just literally, I just don't know what to do in that respect, because you can't force anybody to do something they want to do, especially kids.
Yeah.
If they set their mind onto something, you're not going to change it.
Yeah. Can I say it's genuinely nice to hear that it happens to you? Because sometimes when it happens to you as a teacher, you're like, I'm the only person this ever happens to, when a student's like, oh yeah, I don't want to play, but it does. Yeah. Across the board.
It does.
So what kind of, I mean, if there are any standout moments where you're like, I can't deal with this?
Not many, to be fair. I mean, a lot of them, if people are paying money, they generally want to do it. So, but I have had some kids that just give student relationship, right? Which sometimes can be, you can have a laugh, but then they start to go a little bit a bit too far, a bit too friendly, and start sort of giving you a bit of laryness, giving you a bit of, and then I just can't take that myself. I'm like, look, if you want respect, mate, you got to give me some respect. You don't start swearing at me and sort of like, I don't want to do this, mate. This is shit. I don't do this. I say, well, it's only shit because you can't do it. But I want to do. Oh, the classic I always find is, Pete, I want to learn this song. Okay, cool. Yeah, what is they've just had a couple of lessons or something like that. Yeah, Pete, I want to learn this song. Yeah, brilliant. What is it? Well, it's this really fast one by Korn. Okay, so do you think your ability is up to that? Oh, I can learn it. What now? You can't hold a 4/4 beat kind of thing. Oh yeah, be easy, Pete. Be easy.
Yeah.
And you got to try. You got to try it. You got to try and kind of talk them down off the cliff. So look, you're gonna die on this if you're not careful. But they are.
No, I did that with you once. I said, there's a Led Zeppelin drum solo I want to learn, and I remember. Oh yeah. So maybe I'm the guy that you're talking about. But I was just like, can we learn Moby Dick? And you were like, what? And it was early on. I think even I thought, this is mental, but I'll see if he's
got to realize your own limits, don't you?
So you get a new student, they reach out, however they reach out. They've never played drums. What's your go-to first lesson to get them going?
Well, I have tester lessons, I suppose, as you can call it, tester, where I like to meet them. I like to meet their parents. I like to find out if they've done anything before, if they played any instruments, so you can kind of gauge their rhythmic ability or anything like that. Because when I was younger, I started with the piano. So I also, I tried the flute, I tried the violin, but none of that went anywhere. But I try to find out if there's any musical thing there, because sometimes you get parents come up to you and say, oh, they were tapping their hands on the side and they've definitely got rhythm. You're like, oh, okay, cool. So you get them in, and you just like say, okay, do you wanna play me something? Do you do anything? And they go, oh yeah, well I muck around on my mate's drum kit sometimes, and I do this, and they're just like, and I'm like, okay, yeah, fine, we can work with that kind of thing, But as far as like a first lesson, kids, I find, because I teach mostly children, and I've got a few teenagers and like a couple of adults, but they just want to play, which sometimes is hard for people to kind of figure out. They just want to play along to something. They want to be part of something. So they instantly, I find, want to play a song, something simple. And I mean, you get your simple ones, We Will Rock You. I mean, a few of them are like Human, Rag and Bone Man. I'm Not the Only One, Sam Smith, just some simple kind of just like some simple beats for them to do. But I do use like that basic rock rhythm, that simple rock rhythm to start. Yeah. They can go to so many things. And once you sort of open up their mind, say, look, just this one rhythm can go to that, this, that, the other. And it kind of broadens their horizon. They go, God, I can do. They start believing in themselves. They're like, oh, I can do that. God, I can play this song. And I did We Will Rock You and something like that. And I don't really get into, like, okay, this is counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, because you just bamboozle them. They're just like, what? It's not what I signed up for. Don't want to do that. Yeah. But if you can get their interest straight away with, like, even if you say to them, look, when you're doing this, you'll be able to play to, what music you into. I'm into that. Like, you'll be able to play that, and it sparks their. You can see their little minds going around, going, oh, right, okay, maybe I can do that. I'll come again. This is really good,
Yeah.
So first lessons are generally just simple relationship. It's getting to know them, getting them to try and play something simple, something and then sort of bring everything else in as and when they need to. I mean, you get the classic, right? I'm going to teach you whatever you want to do because you're the student and I'm the teacher, and whatever you feel comfortable with. But again, it's like you got to balance that at the same time too, because there's what you want to do, and there's what, and then on my side, there's what I think you need to do to attain that. So you got to kind of strike a balance. You can all do this all in the first couple of lessons. You can kind of ascertain where they want to go and what they want to do. Yeah. And then talking with the parents of, what they do at home, sort of, are the family musical? Is there anything there? Just even, like I say, relationships and communication, I find a lot of the time with parents and finding out stuff about them and how their lives are. And then you get like a little inroad into sort of like where you could kind of pitch them as far as what their playing wants to do. So I find it really interesting, actually, sort of just meeting a person for the first time. It's a big thing. It's like, you can kind of make judgments on people in the first meeting, but I find, you can't do that. Yeah. I've done that previously. When I first started, I'd like look at somebody and go, right, you're rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to be terrible.
Yeah.
But, just experience tells me just to sort of give it a bit of time, give the kids a bit of time, because, I'm this big bloke standing in front of them. Oh, you're going to teach me, kind of thing. But sorry, I just went a bit off tangent there. But
no, it's great.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's something earlier. Although you don't like to judge students straight away, do you think there is an element of some people just will never have it, natural drumming ability?
Yeah, I do. I say some people got it, some people haven't.
Yeah,
and I think it is as I think I can actually say. Well, actually, let me go back on that, because I did have a student who started off, and I thought, I don't think that is what they're going to be. It's not going to be their strength. But because they were so hardworking and practiced so much, they are actually pretty good now. So I think you can kind of make a little bit of a judgment and say, I don't think they're going to do much naturally, but if they put all the work into it, then they can. It's a bit of a catch-22, really.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's I've had students who have surprised me, you know,
Yeah.
sort of, especially younger ones, you know, and but it's the difference between, I mean, you've seen it, you know, someone that does practice and someone that doesn't. You can just tell, you know, you can just tell if they've gone away and practiced or if they haven't. And yeah, I was going to say, talking about, so from like first lesson, the bit I always found was like do find is the bit where it's like the real test is by like a month in, 2 months in or something.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, okay, let's see if they're really up for this. Because the first lesson, if you've got someone aged any age, but like particularly a child, and you get them behind a drum kit, anything you do, they're going to have fun. Do you know what I mean? If you say, play this, and they're like, oh my God, this is great. And like the mum's there. And like the first lesson I usually do with people, I always just get them to play We Will Rock You.
Yeah.
And the parent usually wants to come in the room.
Get the camera out and start filming.
Yeah, exactly. and I always say this line, I'm always like, by the end of the lesson, you'll be able to play a Queen song. And then the mum's like, oh my God, that's great. You know, and then they
love Queen.
Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant. But then it's like, and then I do what you do, probably because that's what I learned. You know, I sort of get them learning the basic beats, and then, you know, Seven Nation Army and stuff like that, you know. But then there's like a bit where it's like, okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to expand those beats, and we're going to try trickier thing. And that's when it can kind of go one way or the other. Like they might smash it instantly and be like, oh, I can add an extra kick, or, you know, whatever, or they won't. And then it's tricky. And then they can, sometimes I found they can hit a wall like really quick. And then that's the moment I've had like a student, I'm like, oh, this is great. And then it's like, they can just lose interest like that if they don't get it instantly. And that's what.
Yeah. You get a lot of perfectionists. You get a lot of perfectionists.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing sometimes.
No, definitely not.
But sometimes, it's like you say, they get that instant kind of like, I can do this. I can do it. Oh, I can't do this first time. Oh no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's it. I think it's like, we were talking to someone else the other day about this, and we're saying when you first start learning drums, it's like everything you learn, it feels like such a level up. And then it sort of starts to peter off and it plateaus a bit. And that's when you can kind of, I don't know, that's when students start. Yeah, they can. Restless. Yeah. But yeah, so let's talk about your drumming, because weirdly, even though we had lessons for years, there's a lot of like that I don't know about you. When did you start and how did you get into it? Right. I started, about 9 years old, I think I was. I think my first time I played was in a church, actually. And I was like, my drum teacher at the time just had a family friend. He's like, oh, you can do it. You can do it. It's a 9-year-old kid trying to play in church, you know. Yeah. And so I was bawling my eyes out. I can't do it. Anyway, smashed it. It was great. Did it in the end. And he's like, look, see, and it's that self-belief thing, I think, being able to do it. Then I've just been playing all the time. I mean, you know, bands, a few which bands have like, I'm not playing with anybody at the moment. It was like COVID and things like that. But playing gigs, I was in a band. We did 2 tours of Canada. I played Slovakia. Played in France. Played all over the world, really. Yeah.
Was that doing original music?
Yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
What sort of genre?
Pop rock. I think I'd call it. Yeah. Foot tapping, pop rock, nice. Kind of stuff. Nothing too hectic.
When was that? In your 20s or?
That, yeah, I think it was. Yeah, about 21 onwards, sort of thing.
Nice. Oh, cool.
Which was good. Then I got married at 24. It's like 3 weeks. I think it was 3 weeks after we got married, something like that. We went on tour to Canada. My wife was, oh right, okay. Oh, sorry.
Did you study drums at uni?
No, nothing. No, totally. Well, I'll say totally self-taught. I had a couple of my friends. So I went from a guy called Marcelo. He was a Spanish guy, and he sort of started me off. He was the guy that said, you can play in today's church service, sort of thing. Yeah. And then he moved away, and then I had another teacher called Phil, and he sort of like, because when I first started playing, it's almost like the toms didn't exist for me. I was like kicks in their hats. you know, everything just kind of like, and I just didn't want to branch out into the toms. Like, right, okay, now we're going to work on some fills. Oh no, I'm happy here. You know, this is my safe place. So that I started doing that. Then he kind of stopped teaching me, and there was this place in Southsea called Roy's Drum Pad. I don't know if you know about it.
Do you know it, Ben?
Yeah,
Have
I
you?
remember that.
Yeah. Place called Roy's Drum Pad. And my mum and dad used to take me down there for like lessons. This is when like lessons were like £7 or something, you know, like well cheap.
Yeah.
And it was that you went down the back of the shop and downstairs, and it's just like this couple of little studios. So I went in there and I learned to read drum music down there, and it got to a point. I was like, really looking forward to my lessons. And I got down there one day, and the teacher said, "Look, I've taught you basically how much I can teach you." I was like, "Oh," and I was gutted. You know, it was like, "Oh man, you know, can I do anything else?" And he was very much I think he was more of a jazz kind of drummer, and I wasn't particularly interested in that. Although, like now, my appreciation for jazz drummers is just like, you know, it just blows my mind. But so from there, I was just like, well, I was a bit gutted, a bit kind of demoralised a little bit, I suppose. And I thought, well, where can I go with this sort of thing? And then I just started teaching myself and just sort of like practicing a bit and doing this here and there. I mean, I didn't get my own drum kit till I was 21.
Yeah,
I never had a drum kit. We should just go down to church and practice on that one and sort of like play on a few. You know, if a few friends had a kit, I'd play on there.
Yeah,
and now I've got 5 of my own.
What was that first kit?
The first kit was it was a Sonor Bird's Eye Maple kit. It was.
sounds nice.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Do you remember the sizes or what it was?
I only just got rid of the snare. It was like a big fat metal snare, 14 by about 9 or something. You know, it was a beast. The Bird's Eye Maple. I think it was just normal rock sizes. You know, 12. Yeah. I think it might have been 12, 13, 16, and then 20, 22 kick. I think something like that.
Was that a kit you had like in mind that you wanted to get, you saved up for, or was it just?
Yeah. There was this music shop in Portsmouth down Commercial Road years ago, and I'd walk past it all the time. You know, it was in the window kind of thing. Your classic kids, hands on the window. Oh, this is so nice. And eventually, I've like convinced my mum and dad to look. I'll pay you back. Can you get it from me? And they were okay. I think by then they sort of knew that this is the way. This is what I wanted to play. It wasn't just a fly by night kind of. Yeah, he'll get over that. He'll get over that phase of his life.
Yeah.
So I went and bought that, and that was my first kit. And then I traded that in. Do you remember a shop called Pool Percussion?
Yeah.
I don't. Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went in there with my now wife. I went in there and I traded in my kit for my DW.
You still got now. Wife.
No, they didn't take her for some reason.
She's wrapped sorry.
Wrapped Tom and a Camel and a curly Wurly. But I traded it in for my DW, which I've still got now. And it's a black label green satin oil with gold hardware, and it still sounds amazing even now.
Nice.
So
is that got gold lugs? Did I remember that, or am I making
no? Yeah, it's got gold lugs, gold hoops.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I love it. It's like my son's like, Dad, you should swap out your Mapex that you teach off and put your DW there, and I'm like, I'd love to, but I don't want to. It's like, it's a really weird thing with, I don't know if you're the same, but I've got certain gear that I'm like, I don't really want to use that too much because it's really nice, especially cymbals. I've got this one. I broke it so many times and sent it back to Zildjian, an EFX crash, 20-inch EFX crash.
Right.
And I got that from GAC in Brighton, and I had to go back 6 times within 2 years because I kept breaking it. But I loved it so much, I kept getting the same cymbal. And then it ran out of the 2 years because it's not 10 years for every cymbal. It's 2 years for sort of like the length of 2 years.
Yeah.
But then, now still, I broke it again, but I was like, I couldn't take it back. So I had, when they sort of like cut holes and make it sound, so the holes it had already are kind of like a bit wonky and a bit that kind of now, but it still sounds amazing. It still sounds good.
So what's your current main setup? I mean, would you say it's the one you teaching from, or is it?
I use kind of a basic teaching setup for everyone. Like I have the same as the student. Just like a snare, 2 rack tom, floor tom, single crash, ride over to the right, and then a hi-hat, and then my music kind of like in front of there.
Yeah.
Just so, I mean, I could put some more cymbals on it. And sometimes I do for like more experienced players, I sort of bring out a few stands and cut the cymbals so they can really expand what they're doing rather than just having to sort of go straight over to the, can't miss the crash, you know, over there. The amount of times they're like, sticks go flying, you know. If I was like gigging and stuff, I like a 4-piece setup. And it might like, ideally, I mean, I really want to have another kit. I've got an idea for another kit, but.
Well, let's go through that. Because when I said current setup, I mean, like, what's your, like, of all your 5 kits, if you had a roadie and you're going on play a big gig, you're like,
it's the rule you have to have more kits than kids.
Yeah.
That is 100% true.
Yeah.
Well, we're having a 4th child, so I'm going to need a 5th kit.
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm going to take you down to Pool Percussion and see what they offer.
Yeah, they shut up. I mean, it's Graham Russell drums now. I think I go to most.
Do you remember the Boom Room in?
Yes, yeah. That's where I got all these kits from. I mean, the kits I teach from. That's where I got them all from originally. Anyway,
it moved to where Graham Russell is now and called 4-4. Do you remember?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was really annoyed because I grew up in Titchfield in Fareham and would have to go over to Portsmouth to the Boom Room.
Yeah.
And then I moved to London for uni, and then they moved to Fareham.
Just to spite you, I'm sure it's just.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Do you remember that place in Chichester? Was it Burns?
Burns.
You always used to tell me to go there, Pete. But I always used to think they were really arsey whenever I went in there. I'd be like, "Hi, I'm here to get some." They're like, "What? What do you want?" And I was just like, "Getting some sticks." Anyway, they're shut now, so I think they're shut.
I wonder why.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the place I sort of sent people to because it was just up the road. Chichester was like Fareham was a little bit further for the Boom Room. But here's a story not a lot of people know. I nearly bought Burns drums.
Wow.
Because I was like, do you know what? I'd really like to teach, but I'd also like to have my own shop. And so like I was just talking about it one day in there, and he goes, "Well, actually, we're thinking of selling." So I was like, the stars are aligned.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen in the end. It was just like wanted too much money too soon. I was like, do you know what? I'm not being pressured into this.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen.
Did it get close, or was it just like?
It got close because I was like, right, okay, how can I raise these funds? And I was talking to people. I was even went as far as saying, trying to find people to kind of work there with me, and teach and to sort of run the shop and all that kind of stuff. And then I went in one day to look at the books and their turnover and things like that. I was like, "Oh, this is doing all right." And they said, "Well, we're moving out." I say on this date, I can't remember when it was. We're moving out, and we kind of need to sort of move things along, sort of like money by this. And there's no chance I can get over that kind of money. Yeah. I mean, they wanted a lot of money. Even then, I was like, I don't think it's worth that much. He said, "Oh yeah, we've got a lot of inventory, and you only got all the students and things like that. So you can't really sort of factor in the students because they can leave tomorrow."
Yeah.
But yeah, nearly had it, but then it just didn't work out. And I'm a firm believer in if it doesn't flow, then it's not meant to be.
How do you find teaching adults?
Yeah, there's this question.
Good question. I actually like it. I mean, I've got this one guy. He's 63, and he just loves it. I mean, he lives for it. He's like, if I for instance, this week I've got a bit of a break because it's half term, and he's like, "Well, you're not going to cancel my lesson, are you, Pete?" I'm like, "Why? Do you still want a lesson?" "Yeah, I'll forget it all by next. I'm 63, mate. I'll forget it all if I don't." And it's brilliant because we've been working on a lot because he was your classic. I want to play songs. I want to do, I don't want to do all this rudiment kind of 1 and 2 and 3. I just want to learn play by ear. None of that. I was like, okay, I can work with that. And we've done it. What have we just finished? Jump, Van Halen. Just started, just finished that one. Yeah, that was the guy who's just older. No, Jump, Van Halen. We played Back in Black with him. We played a whole lot of Rosie, AC/DC with him. We played, God, even as like mad as The Cause, Breathless. I mean, we've done some proper sort of like, you know, dynamically different songs. But yeah, he loves it. And I find adults are good. I like adults because they don't mess around.
Yeah,
they tell you out here. So look, well, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this.
It's their own money.
Exactly. Yeah, they're spending their own money, and they're like, "Right, what have I got to do, Pete?" And you can go, "Okay, work on this. We're going to work on this, and then we're going to record you, and then you can and you can work on this part. Oh, and then you'll come back the next week. Pete, I really struggled on this part. Could we work on it again?" And they tell you how they're feeling in weird. They go, "Right, I really found this difficult, Pete. Okay, cool. Let's work on that." Whereas if you're working with like some young people, they just sit there and struggle. And you're going, you struggling with this then? Yeah. Well, why don't you just, you know, email me, tell me, just like, tell me, communicate with me, you know. Oh yeah. But they just, I like it. I really like teaching adults. They're on a little bit more on my wavelength where, you know, they can take it serious. They know the difference, what we were talking about earlier. They know the difference between student, teacher, and all in between. But yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
I mean, the main thing I found, I don't know if you agree with this, is like the attention span. You know, with a child, it's like it can go quickly. But I had a one-off lesson with this guy. He was like, "Can I book a lesson?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Do you want an hour or half an hour?" He said, "Can I have 2 hours?" And I was like, "If you want." We did this 2 hour lesson. Yeah. And we did this 2 hour lesson, and it was just all day.
More.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll come move in for a month.
Yeah. So stick a bed down there, you'll be fine.
Exactly. But no, it was great. And he just, at no point did he sort of, I don't know, get frazzled. It was just like, man, this is good.
It's almost harder work for you, isn't it? You got to think of stuff.
I know.
To do.
It's like, God, 2 hours. I remember talking to Ben before the lesson.
I remember you. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't know. What if I run out of stuff? You know, and it's just like, it's okay.
Do you find that with like fast learners as well? I mean,
run out of things.
Yeah. So like you prepare something for the student. You think, well, that will take, because basically I've only got a couple of hour slots. I think I do during the week. Most of them are half an hour, just like back to back. But the hour ones, sometimes if I get somebody who's like on it, you know, and they're kind of a natural player, and I've kind of shown them what to do and what I'd planned for this half an hour. I think, okay, that would take half an hour and a little bit more. And they're like straight on. You're like, right. So I got to come up with something pretty damn quick right now.
Well, what would you do in that situation?
This is how we clean a drum kit.
Here's
4 of them. Right?
Yeah.
This is a duster.
Yeah.
Well, I have done before. I've gone, right. I say, if you've got a drum kit at home, yeah. Do you know how to tune it?
Yeah.
And they're like, God, I never you've never tuned. Well, it's like a guitar. You've got to keep it in tune. And I've literally in the middle of a lesson I've said, right, we're going to take your drum kit apart and we're going to put it back together again. And things like that. I mean, that didn't happen for me. That's more for the younger children. Kind of like, oh, look. But as in, when I run out of stuff to do, I'm like, okay, let's take what we've just done and let's switch it around to make it slightly different, you know, because like, for instance, I don't know, off the top of my head, we're doing some open hi-hat work, and all the hi-hat stuff's on the beat, and they get that. So I'm like, okay, let's go off the beat. And it sounds a bit out of order, but I always try to trip them up and, so, like, and keep them thinking. So, because if they like play along really easily and it's like straight on full bump and they're like loving it straight in, and they get a little bit cocky about it, and I was like, okay, let's just stick this little offbeat in there, and they start getting a little bit like narky, and they're like, it's just another snare drum, it's just another snare drum, you know, like, yeah, we're just putting it down. But I find just changing things just a little bit can always kind of like improve anything, really. Very, very slightly, you know, very slight just changes in anything. Just putting an extra something there. What I found is, well, taking things away blows people's minds. The simplicity of playing some beats, and now we're going to take that beat. We're going to take away this snare, that kick drum. and you can see their minds just kind of like trying to work and get around it, making things simpler and things like, and slowing things down gets people as well. You know, you get things like, for instance, I work with like children on. Have you ever worked with the Rock School Drums Method book?
As in the grade book, or not the grade books? Or is
no, it's called Drum Method. I haven't got one here. It's called Drum Method. It's called Drum Method. It's like a real beginning entrant before like debut grade. It's
right.
before
Okay.
that. So it's like, these are quarter notes. These are eighth notes. These are worth this much. There's a quarter note rest. Here's an eighth note rest. Da, 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 all that kind of stuff. And it says tempo 90 beats a minute. And they practice it and they get it and it's all working towards a click. And I'm like, right, so let's speed this up 100, not fast. Just let's do it to 100, 110. Cool. Let's take this down to like 60. And it's like
taking it down, curveball.
Taking it down. They're like, whoa, hold on a minute, you know. But I think just messing around with things and having fun with things is going, look, you know, you don't have to look at things so, you know, it's just like blinkered. So you don't have to look at things, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's try it faster. Let's try it slower. Let's try adding. Let's try taking away sort of things.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, I'm going off on a tangent now.
No, this is great because I've had it before, and it's like, I love how, say if I have a couple of students in the day, especially at schools, if you get students learning the same, like say if it's a grade piece or something, and some students will get it faster than others, and then it's like, okay, you've got it really nailed. Like there isn't really anything I can add, and that's the point. It's not that I think it's as you said, it's harder to teach them sometimes because then you can't just fall back on, okay, well we still need to work on this bit, and we still suddenly it's like that's all good, like what can we, and it's like, I think the thing I found was not to let them know that I've run out of things. If I ever went, I don't know what else to teach you, I've ran out of things, they'd be like, what? But the fact that you sort of
I'm better than you.
Yeah, exactly. Just go like, oh, okay.
Honest, I thought you'd fuck that up, but you haven't. So I'm stumped. So
I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah. We all had a chat.
The last 10 minutes in quiet, in silence.
But no, it is. It's. I think that's something I learned quickly and the hard way.
Do you find? I mean, it's me questioning you now.
No, please.
Do you find when you're teaching, you know, you were saying about the attention span. Do you think it's an age thing, or do you think it can be an adult thing that they just can't take as much information in, or that you really have to kind of like spend time on little bits quite often to make the big picture sort of thing?
I think, like, you know, across the board, say you've got 100 students and like 50 of them are children, 50 are adults, the attention span of the children will be less.
Yeah.
But I do think there are certain adults that do struggle getting things. And sometimes I'll go into teaching an adult and think, oh, they're in their 20s or 30s, they'll get this quick. And then you go, oh God, no, they don't. They're actually, I don't know, less with it than a 5-year-old I taught this morning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like but that's something I've learned, and you know, you learn, is every student's different. Even if you teach them the same thing, it's like they'll come at it from a different angle, and they'll sort of, and I think slowing things down, I don't know, it makes you realize what you're playing. Because there's some like here's one that I really struggled to teach everyone, was the drum beats of Valerie, like the Amy Winehouse version, because it's, you know, the kick pattern is different to the quarter note hi-hats, and it's just like eighth note, sorry. And I was just like, I explained it to them and they'd be like, I don't get that.
I don't understand.
And you just strip it back and keep stripping it back. And then you really have to think like, well, what is happening here? Because I learned it by just going, oh, it's that. And then I've learned it. Exactly. But that's like, I don't know, it's interesting as a teacher, because then you sort of learn it again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually really love that. I really love like people coming to me and going, oh, I want to try and work on this. And I'm going, I'm actually learning at the same time. This is wonderful. Yeah. It's, you know, either I've never heard this song before or heard this beat before. Yeah. And now I've got to, because I'm the professional, I've got to kind of analyze it and break things down for myself before I can actually regurgitate and spit it back out so they can learn it themselves. Totally. I love it. I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I often teach songs to people is sort of strip it back completely. Say if it's a tricky song, but it's like it isn't necessarily fast. I go, well, let's just do the kick and the snare to this song, and then we'll add the hi-hat, and then we'll add the thing. And it's like that was usually my method, and I quite like, it's sort of like, well, what is going on here? Let's take it apart and then put it back together. But no, it is like it's every student's different. And that's why you have to be on your toes. And like, I think,
and like going back to right at the very beginning when we were talking about when I used to leave you on your own. I kind of came across that. I wouldn't call it a technique. I rather came across it by accident because I was just, I don't know, I had to go to the toilet or something. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
But I went out of the room whilst I said, right, just have a go on it. Just practice it nice and slowly. I'll be back in a minute. Just take your time. Blah, blah, blah. I went out and I came back in. I didn't actually go into the live room, drum room. And I was standing there by the door, like listening. And they were slowly but surely, because they didn't have me staring at them all the time, they were getting it better and better and better. So I thought, I'm just going to stay here for a bit because they're loving it right now.
I want to go back to your relationship, the two of you. So how did you, George, find Pete?
I think my mum found you somehow. I can't remember how, but you happen to live like 5 minutes
just down the road.
Literally down the road. I think my mum got in touch with you because I think
Pete,
I think she did actually. I think she did.
Go on,
Pete,
man.
how soon did you realise George wasn't going to make it as a drummer?
Straight away.
It goes back to saying you can spot natural talent, and clearly
there you go.
Clearly not. Right, cheers, Pete. Thanks for coming on.
So that roundabout way, that's all you needed to know, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's taken an hour just to then class that. Do you know what? There is a few things I have to say, like before we wrap it up. Like the thing that weirdly, because obviously we had lessons for years, and I remember like random little moments. I remember the kick drum skin moment, but I remember you taught me that whenever you play a crash, play a kick drum at the same time. And to us all, that seems so like, well, but it was like I must have been playing beats and then I'd throw in a crash cymbal and just no kick. And then you were like, just so you know, whenever, and it was just like, you told me in like a second, and isn't it funny that like from then on, every student I've ever taught, always when they play a crash, they don't play a kick like on its own. And then I'm like, okay, you need to do that. And it's because like you taught me that. And it's, I don't know, it's quite funny.
Little things that stick.
Yeah. And I sometimes wonder like, what are the things that I said to a student that they're like, oh, I'll remember that now. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, there's so much that you forget. And
it does blow my mind that in the studio when people do hit a crash without the kick.
Yeah.
When we were producing, I'm like, it sounds awful. Like you got to, but then it can get to the point where I want crash samples from someone. And they
keep doing the bass
and they do it with the kick, and I'm like, no, just the cymbal. And they're like, what? And I'm like, you've just got to hit the crash on its own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had to mention that because that was like, there's certain things that was like always remember. Yeah. But it's funny, isn't it? Because it's however many years of lessons.
Are you proud of George, Pete? Are you proud of the?
Oh, let's not go there.
Mate,
become.
Mate, do you know what? I was speaking to my wife actually, telling her that I was like, I'm going to be on this podcast with George. She went, George Pickering?
No way. And all the students you have, how does she remember?
I don't know. I said, yeah. The one that went, the Brighton, and he's done really, really well for himself. And it's kind of, you like to think that your students are going to go on to do something.
Yeah.
However small, just to do something, And when I see like some of my students going to unis and things like that, I love it. I think it's great they're doing something. And when I see like Instagram, you doing gigs and stuff, I'm like almost like proud father time.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe that's why you thought you had 5 kids, George. You
maybe, yeah.
The 5th child.
Yeah, definitely. No, very, very happy with you, mate. Well done.
Oh, well, thank you very much. But what was I was sort of going to ask that. Is there anything that you kind of hope for as a teacher? Like, is it just that they go on to, because my thing, it was very specific. I always just wanted my students to just join a band. I remember whenever my students joined a band, I was like, that's fucking cool. Because that's like that's what you want to be aiming for. Do you know what I mean? Is there anything that you're like, hope they do? I
mean,
or is it just as you said, go to uni and?
Well, no, I don't think that's that's not the be all and end all, because some people, they just like to play. Yeah. And I'm of the opinion, like, just love it. Whatever you do, just love it. If you like playing the drums, play the drums. And, if you like playing in your house, play in your house. If you want to be in a band, absolutely amazing. I'll come and see you. I think for me, it's as long as you love it, you love what you're doing and you're happy, do it, man. Do it.
There you go. Well, that's probably a perfect place to end. We always end with this question. Ben?
Final question that we like to ask everyone is, who's your favourite delivery company?
Amazon.
Ooh,
fair play.
Straight in there with Amazon.
Yeah, straight in.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife orders from all the time, so I've got to say
that. Okay, and who's your worst? Who do you hate?
Yodel.
Ooh,
yeah, fair play.
Yodel.
Fair play.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, there we go. That was a quick one.
Amazing. Brilliant.
To the point. Yeah. No messing about.
I mean, we've got to be careful with Amazon because we sometimes are on the fence whether Amazon count as a delivery company.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But if not,
we've allowed it before. We have allowed it before. But
okay, I'll stick with Amazon.
Sticking with Amazon.
Yeah.
And Yodel's going in the bin.
Yeah, in the bin.
Where can people find you, Pete? Are you online presence at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a website at Rhythm Room Drums, Instagram Rhythm Room Drums as well, Facebook Rhythm Room Drums. Haven't got Twitter. I mean, we didn't talk about this before, but I don't even advertise. I don't need to. I'd rather have the word of mouth of people sort of saying it's good or it's bad or whatever.
Yeah.
People being honest. I'd rather.
Yeah, fair. No, it's good. It's a word of mouth business, isn't it?
Definitely.
Like, once you get a few, they all start coming.
Rolling on.
Exactly. Keep that ball rolling, boy.
Rolling.
That's nice one. Well, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
No worries, boys. Thanks for inviting me.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, boys.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Cheers.
Take it easy.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
There we go.
That was our interview with Pete.
Was it nice talking to Pete again?
It was, yeah. As I said, we've kept in touch loosely over the years, but it was nice to just discuss everything because there's a lot. I said, as I said, I didn't know about him. It's like you turn up, you have your half an hour lesson, and then you leave. But it was felt like we were on the same wavelength. We're just two guys just teaching drums, playing drums, and
yeah,
and all that. As opposed to hi, I'm here for my drum lesson. My name's George. So yeah, it's good. And if you're interested in drum lessons in the Emsworth, Havant, maybe even Portsmouth area, Pete Watson's your man. He's very experienced and he's very upbeat. You know what I mean? Some music teachers you feel like can be very, very.
He seemed very positive for a music teacher.
Yeah, he's like that.
I was a bit surprised.
Yeah. It's yeah. Very good. Cool. What are you up to for the rest of the day?
Well, very shortly, I'm off to go and pick up a van from around the corner from the studio because I'm off to Hereford.
Where's that?
I think it's on the Welsh border.
Actually, let me ask you in a different way. Is it long distance, medium, or short?
Oh, I mean, it's 3 hours. So would you say medium?
I don't know. That's long, I'd say for me. Medium for me
I'd
is
say
2.
anything over 4 is long.
Yeah.
I'd say medium is 2 to 3. And short is under 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's
Medium
on the Welsh
distance.
border-ish sort of thing.
Do a lot of gigs in Wales, don't you?
I know, it's really weird. And with freshman year as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there, but we keep going to Wales. Fine.
Nice.
But as it stands, it's my last gig of the year.
Wow.
On a rainy Tuesday in November.
It is rainy.
So who knows? Maybe Christmas ones come in. They usually come in short notice.
Yeah, they do.
But as it stands, last function, wedding gig of the year. So,
Wow.
My arm's healed though, so that will make life easier. Yeah.
Speaking of the rain.
There he goes. Yeah, little bit stormy last night.
Is it stormy in Portsmouth?
It was last night.
Because it's very stormy in Brighton. No. So last night, I have to tell this because otherwise it will feel like it was for nothing if I don't mention it on the pod. I did the crew job last night. Last night, it was Anastasia at the Dome. And as I was walking to work, I had to start at 9:30. Torrential rain and wind. It was a storm. It was a storm. There's no two ways about it. It was a storm. And I don't know if you ever, loaded out of a gig and it's raining. It's no fun. But
I'm sure I'll be doing it tonight.
Yeah, you get your 2 speakers out and your desk and your drum kit, and before long it's done. Imagine that on a touring scale. So yeah, it was relentless, and it was windy, it was rainy, and I was trying to lug flight cases out of Brighton Dome into a truck, and I was going, something's gone seriously wrong here with my life. It was fine, but it was like, I felt like I'd done an actual day's work by the end of it. It was mental. But it really, I don't know, did bring us together. I've sort of been like, oh, do people know me at this job? I sort of dip in and out. But after that, when you're lugging flight cases into a truck, that was another thing, just trying to get them up the truck on this slippery ramp. And you have to, it was chaotic. But yeah, I even ran home as well because I didn't have a wallet. I could have got a bus or a taxi, but I didn't have a wallet. And it was so stormy. I was like, I just want to get home. So I ran, which is mental, in fucking work shoes and a coat. Must have looked like some nutter going for a jog at 2 a.m. Oh, I'll say that actually. Yeah, as she left the stage door as we were waiting to go in, us sorry, soaken, sodden people, she was like, you guys are the ones that do the real hard work, thank you. And we were like, yeah,
but you're the one who earns the money, love.
You're the one that, yeah. Straight into a car.
Let's get the accounts out, yeah? See who's getting the lion's share.
Exactly.
You can give us a hand if you want.
I know. Well, I'll end with this though. Imagine that. Imagine the joy. And I know people that have been on the podcast do get this treatment, but imagine finishing a gig and there's a car waiting outside. All you have to do is go from the stage, because the stage to stage door is what, like 10 feet, and your car's
we've spoken about my dream of just being helicoptered off.
Yeah,
as the cymbals ring out from Mr. Brightside.
Yeah.
Off I go in the chopper.
As I said, the funniest bit about that dream is you're still in a function band.
Yeah. It's incredibly disproportionate. No, it's nothing. No.
Yeah.
It's just a wedding to 10 people on the dance floor.
Yeah. Why is the fee 80 grand? It's like, oh, that's Winty's helicopter fee. £72,000. But cool.
Episode 50 done.
In 2 weeks it'll be a year.
Yes. I need to double check the dates because we don't forget we did a Christmas and New Year's Day special.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a little skip ahead. If anything, we've done,
done more.
We've done more.
We are keeping you fed.
We are putting food on your plate and letting you chow down.
Yeah.
Yum, yum, yum.
Is it nutritious? Probably not.
Probably not. It's probably very bad for you.
Yeah.
But a miles a day.
Yeah.
So if you've been, wherever you've joined us on this journey so far, thank you.
Yeah. Please don't go.
We're begging you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah.
And I think we'll definitely do another 50 at least.
Yeah.
So
easy.
Come on down, join us as we roll in. But yeah, we'll have there'll be an episode soon with probably our birthday, the pod's birthday.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll wear a party hat.
Oh, definitely.
But thanks for listening, and we're always reachable.
Yeah.
Email, Twitter, Instagram.
Etc.
And if you like what we've done over these 50 episodes, go and give us a little 5-star review. Yeah. Wherever you get your pod, because it helps people find us. That's right.
Yep, that is right.
And thank you, George, for being here.
You too.
Well, we just had a little idea, didn't we? Oh, we always talk about drums. We should do a pod.
Yeah.
And here we are.
To be fair, I don't think it was always drums. It was when we were saying ridiculous shit like stuff that we couldn't
stuff that
air.
was very unbroadcastable.
Yeah, and then we went, and we'd always end.
And well, maybe it should be about something.
Yeah,
you know.
And we go, we should make a podcast. Yeah, is that, yeah, you need to have an angle, you know. So it's loosely about drums, but there are some episodes that, you know, people will listen to. Elfie, for example, she'll be like, I don't think you mentioned drums once.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. No.
That's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of it. You've got them in.
It's a tombola of fun.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to get?
Well, it is, because genuinely, you know, I do need to shut up in a minute, but it's like some podcasts that are drum podcasts are too drum heavy. You isolate people, you know, have that as a bit of it, but also talk about, you know,
our tomfoolery, our shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly.
Our lives. These are our lives as working drummers.
Big time. Big time.
And you're going to get everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Gosh.
I've got to go and get a van and then drive to Hereford. My working day, starts in 5 minutes and it will end about 3:30 this morning, coming up 3:30 tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Damn.
But whatever.
Yeah. Money in the tin.
Money in the tin. Dreams in the bin. See you later. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.